the purpose of this meeting is to provide a presentation of the curriculum on climate change adaptation of the master degree program in civil engineering. And as you know, it is one of the four curricula that are included in the master degree program, and the curricula are articulated along the second year. But of course, they need to be chosen by a deadline sometime this year. I'm not informed about the deadline, but I think you students know better than me. And I am now sharing my screen because I just wanna, 1 second, share, okay. I just wanna show you the website that you know very well of the master degree program in civil engineering. I will refer to this website, and in particular to the course structure diagram, where you can see the four...
Alberto,
yeah?
Sorry, so Muhammad is saying that he cannot hear you. Maybe it's your problem, Muhammad. Can you check if you can hear us? Because I can hear Professor Montanari.
Yeah, and also I can hear you, Sarah. So let me open the chat, okay.
Can you hear us?
Not sure. Maybe, could you hear us? Yes, okay, so I can move forward. Perfect. So you should see the screen, actually. And in the screen, you see the four curricula that you know, as I said, probably better than me. And let's now click on the course structure diagram for the curriculum climate change adaptation for the students enrolled in the academic year 2025-2026. And that's it. I'm not commenting it directly now because I now would like to pass to a PowerPoint presentation to give you the context. So basically, before I start, I just want to remind you about the opportunities. I think you are already well informed, but the opportunities about study grants and subsidies that you can find in the address that you see typed over the screen. And be aware of these opportunities because I think there are many of them that are distributed. The eligibility requirements are quite lenient, and in particular, if you choose a master degree program in Ravenna, like is climate change adaptation, it may be an advantage for you to be able to, in a way, cover some of the costs. There are not additional costs with respect to studying in Bologna, but still there might be opportunities for specifically conceived for Ravenna. Now, this is the website. We already passed through it. And this is a list of the four curricula. Let's go forward. Here you see the locations of the campuses of the University of Bologna, in particular those where the curricula are delivered. So Bologna for structural engineering and water engineering, and Imola for, I go back one slide, for sustainable mobility in urban areas, and finally Ravenna for climate change adaptation. Ravenna is the farthest from Bologna. It can be reached quite easily by train, not as easy as going to Imola. Imola is a very short trip. Going to Ravenna takes about 1 hour by train, and there are convenient trains to reach Ravenna in time for getting the lectures, for attending the lectures. And there are also convenient trains for coming back if you decide to commute. Actually, some of the students decide to stay in Ravenna. There are some advantages if you make such a move. And in particular, it's easier than in Bologna to find cheaper accommodations. Still, Ravenna is a touristic city, but it's very, very small. and therefore it is in the surroundings, it's relatively easy to find cheaper accommodations. But I will talk more about the advantages of Ravenna later. This is just to give you an overview of the location. And also I will give you a detailed overview of where the lectures are actually delivered. So this is the structure of the programs that you probably already know. And so the first year, for sure, you already know. Let's focus on the second year. And in the second year, there are more details. The structure of the climate change adaptation curriculum is a little bit different from the structure of the other curricula. And you see that there is a total of, in the second year, of 60 credits. And there are 15 credits, 15 plus 3, that have to be gained by taking 3 mandatory courses. With mandatory, I mean that you are obliged, constrained to select them. Mandatory doesn't mean that there is that attendance, physical attendance is required. I will give you these details later on with more details. And then these 3 mandatory courses I will describe later and with a lot of information. And plus there is a mandatory course on Italian, in Italian, which is 3 credits. And then there is a block in green over the screen in the right column of 3 courses for a total of 15 credits that can be selected within 2 blocks of 2 alternative blocks. So they are not mandatory. You are constrained to select one of the 2 blocks, of course, 15 credits, but you are given the option to select between the 2 alternatives, which I will describe in the next slides. And then there are, like in the other curricula, 2 or 3 elective courses. 2 is the minimum. They are courses that can be selected anywhere in among the courses delivered by the University of Bologna. We suggest a list that I will show you later. But students are completely free to get courses, even if they are out of the suggested list. These courses have to be taken for a minimum of 12 credits, and therefore we say 2, minimum of 2, because the courses we suggest are 6 credits. You may take up to 18 credits, but the credits exceeding the number of 12 are above the 120 that you are required to take. So let me give you an example. You know that in 2 years you have to get 120 credits. If you decide to take 3 elective courses, 6 credits each, it means that you will get at the end of the story 126 credits. They will be shown in your study curriculum, and so you can take them, but it will be an extra. The credits that exceed the number of 12 in this category is an extra. And then there is the thesis, 15 credits. For the thesis, you can select between 2 different alternatives, 2 different paths for getting these 15 credits. But let me give you more details. So these are the alternatives for the final thesis. It's 15 credits, but you can choose between 15 credits gained through the final examination, or you take a final examination that gives only 3 credits plus 1 among the 3 alternatives that you see in the bottom of the table: internship abroad, or internship for preparation of the final examination, or preparation for the final examination abroad. So this means that basically you can decide, you are given flexibility on how to organize the work for your final examination, in particular giving you the opportunity for internship abroad or here in Bologna or Ravenna. In particular, in Ravenna, we have agreements like we have in Bologna for preparing the final examination by taking an internship with a company or somebody working, in any case, in these themes, in these topics. Now, about the curriculum, climate change adaptation with more details. So first of all, why to activate this curriculum and why in Ravenna? So in Ravenna, first of all, there is an increasing interest of companies and also the job market in experts in engineering projects related to the marine environment, marine and coastal environment, not only the sea, but also the coasts. There are increasing concerns related to, for instance, increased saltwater intrusion, related to increased extraction of fresh water in the coastal areas, related to some extreme events or extreme marine storms. There are increasing concerns related to the development of tourism, which implies higher water demands, implies then higher groundwater withdrawals, and implies the need for adapting to this increasing attendance of tourists. In particular, in terms of the teaching activities, in Ravenna is particularly convenient for students because there are less students, and therefore there is the opportunity for us to work with a small number of students. There are very good facilities because there are rooms, and of course, with a limited number of students, there is more space available for students. And in general, the assistance that is provided by the personnel and by the staff, by the professor, can be more dedicated because there are less students. In Bologna, it would have been impossible to activate this master degree program because rooms are already busy and the staff is already busy, and therefore there are less opportunity for creativity. In this case, we wanted to create a master degree program which is focusing on specific subjects and work. We specifically wanted to work with a limited number of students, and therefore Ravenna is particularly convenient. And we needed also facilities because this is engineering design under a changing environment is a new topic, or relatively new, let's say. Actually, it's not the topic that is new, but the methods are dramatically evolving after the introduction of artificial intelligence, after the introduction of new monitoring techniques. And therefore, there is the need to specifically focus on these issues. And this is why also companies are looking for experts about environmental change in general. Keep in mind that currently there are in Italy no guidelines and established technical norms on engineering design under a changing environment. And therefore, there is, of course, an increasing demand for experts. And given that we have teachers available in our group with an international expertise in adapting to environmental change, we thought that it would be beneficial to students to take advantage from this availability. So this is the study plan, and which you can also get from the website. Let me switch back to the website. So if you look at the second year, you see the list of the subjects, and climate change modeling, mitigation, and adaptation is one of the three compulsory ones in the first block. The second is laboratory. And then there is a course which is again compulsory actions on structure and infrastructures in a changing climate. And then you have to take the Italian course, which can be also given by seminars, but they must be in the Italian language. And these courses are those that are presented here in the slides, but I prefer to refer to the website so you get from the website more information. It is not very convenient in terms of overall clarity, but still the information that is delivered here is all what you require. So these that I just introduced are the mandatory courses. I have slides later on to give more details on each one of them. Now let's see the second block. The second block is called elective. Actually, they are not completely elective. You have to choose among the two alternatives presented here. First alternative, trees of courses including analysis and modeling of marine structures. And please don't pay attention to this specification, not available. It is available. So unfortunately, this is just an IT problem, and the course will be available. And therefore, don't worry. Of course, don't pay attention to it. Second course, advanced design of marine structure. And the third is design of marine structures. And if you see the credits, 6, 6, and 3 is totalizing 15. Second alternative, and you cannot mix them unless you present an individual study plan. If you follow the recommendation, you have to choose between the first block and the second block. If you want to make a mix, you have to present an individual study plan with a very good motivation. So, second block, geotechnical design of coastal infrastructures. And again, I'll give you details later. Ocean and coastal engineering. And the third one, environmental perspective for multimodal transport operations. Now, final examination, we already discussed it with the two alternatives. I already described the two alternatives, and therefore we can skip it. And then there is the list of the electives. Once again, you are not obliged to take a minimum of 12 credits from these courses. You can take these 12 credits by attending any course that is delivered by the University of Bologna, either in Bologna or Ravenna. If, for instance, you feel that you are more comfortable taking these courses in Bologna, you can do that. Okay, and this is the list. I'm not commenting the individual ones. The list suggested here is basically focusing on marine and ocean engineering, and some of them focusing on offshore engineering. But once again, you are free, and you can also, as I said before, take more credits than required. And this means that they will be anyway recorded in your CV, as I said. Now, about lectures, where are the lectures given? As I said, in Ravenna, for all of these courses, but the electives, but the final list, you are free. As I said, you can take them in Bologna. They are scheduled in Ravenna. Actually, there is the possibility that for small number of students, we may deliver some of them in Bologna. This is something that we cannot grant for sure. It depends on the number of students. It depends also on the willingness of students to move to Bologna, because of course, if you decide to move to Ravenna, you are given the right to ask that the physical lectures are given in Ravenna. So depending on the availability of students and depending on the number of students, for instance, in the second semester, that we are finishing now, we had some lectures in Bologna. However, keep into account that all of these courses in the first block, which means this one that I am selecting now, all of these adhere to experimental teaching activities, which means that up to 30% of the lectures can be delivered online. So it may happen that some of these lectures are delivered online. In the past academic year, we decided not to give any lecture online, but this is an opportunity if the students, in particular, want it, we are allowed to. And perhaps even more important, in this first block of courses, we let me just skip the seminar in lingua italiana. This one, of course, I selected earlier, but it's not included on what I'm saying. For these three courses that are now selected, we deliver the lectures in streaming, meaning that in any case, even if the lecture is physically delivered by the teacher, we connect to streaming and we deliver the lecture in streaming. So if you want, you can attend online. And in any case, we make the recordings available, the recordings of the lectures. This means that if you want to attend online, you are given two opportunities, streaming or watching the videos after the lectures. So there is very high flexibility that is given to this program in order to meet the specific requirements of students. We are given, I repeat, we are giving allowance for delivering the lecture online only. And if we decide to give the lectures physically, we are giving the allowance to deliver them in streaming. And in any case, recordings are made available. What about the other courses in the two blocks to be selected in alternative? So I am selecting the first one for the sake of providing an example. It is still valid for these courses. The last thing that I said, the lectures are recorded and videos made available. They are not delivered in streaming. They are not allowed to deliver part of the lectures online. So I hope the situation is clear for these further courses. Lectures are physically given in Ravenna, but the videos, the lectures are recorded and the videos are made available. So with less flexibility with respect to the first block of courses, anyway, you are given the opportunity of attending online by watching the videos. Our suggestion, I wouldn't suggest to attend the whole of the second year online. I think the main benefit from this master degree program is a close interaction with the professors, because there is a relatively limited number of students. Our prediction is between 5 and 10 students. So this is the main benefit. Of course, if you attend online, you lose part of this benefit. So our suggestion is to make an effort, if you decide to attend this master degree program, to attend online. And to attend in physical presence. But of course, by taking into account that in case for some reason you cannot attend the lectures for any reason, you are given the opportunity to recover your education by watching the videos. About the final examination, I don't have anything to say other than repeating that we aim to a close cooperation with students, and therefore there is the willingness by myself, Professor Cello, but also the other professors who are not attending here today, to closely attend you. So finding an advisor for your final thesis will not be a problem at all. it may be still problematic to find an internship outside the university, in particular if you don't speak Italian. So this is something that I really would like to emphasize. So it's not easy to find a company that has the capacity of hosting students who don't speak Italian. We can make an effort, and in particular because your number is very limited, but still it's not so easy. For the thesis, we give you full assurance that it's no problem to find an advisor and to find a topic. You are given a lot of flexibility to find the topic you prefer for the internship outside the university. Inside the university is another story. Of course, we can give internship in our labs, and we can also offer an internship in Bologna, but outside the university, as you may know, it's more problematic. Okay, now let me go back to the presentation for very quickly giving to you an overview of the courses. I mean, aims and objective of the master degree program, you know them very well because they are published on the website. But let's look at the courses. So I mentioned climate change modeling, mitigation, and adaptation. What does this mean? First of all, as you see, we aim to make an introduction on how climate is modeled, both in engineering and in climate science. So things are completely different, and how they are possibly integrated. And then we talk about risk estimation from the point of view of the engineer, and we talk about decision theory for engineering design and communication. It is a topic that is completely new because climate modeling from the perspective of the engineer is completely different, as I said, from climate modeling for the perspective of an environmental scientist. And therefore, we aim to give indeed a technical education in order to answer the questions that engineers now today get, no matter if they realize, if they agree with the urgency of the problem or not, these questions are asked, and therefore engineers are required to provide a technical reply by taking into account what is the main distinguishing feature of the work of the engineer. The engineer brings responsibility for any mistake. And so the mistake can be undersizing a structure, but a mistake is also oversizing a structure. And therefore, finding technical guidelines for properly design a structure, environmental structure and infrastructures by addressing the compelling questions that engineers are facing today is, as I said, a new topic. Second course, laboratory. With the lab, we provide an introduction to the use of the computer for numerical modeling, numerical design, numerical procedures in general. And therefore, we provide, and with a particular focus on open access means, and therefore we provide an introduction to other operating systems other than Windows. We provide an introduction to computing, to coding languages, in particular open ones, Python, R, and also those that are not really open, like MATLAB, it's commercial. We believe that this is a distinguishing feature of the CV of the student that graduate with this master degree program, because nowadays there is an increasing requirement for professionals that can code and professionals that can use the simulation capabilities of modern computational means in the best way. Students that can make use of artificial intelligence in an innovative, modern, up-to-date way with up-to-date solutions. And believe to me, it's not easy. It's not easy because, of course, Of course, you have to be able to manage these. You have to know how these systems work, and you have to be able how to manage them. You have to be able to find data and to find computational resources if not available, and that's it. It's only 3 credits, but it's a lab that is extremely important. By the way, if you look on my website, www.albertomontanari.it, you find the material for the teaching material, so teaching notes and whatever, videos of the lectures, lectures of this year, of course, available online, okay, for the lab and the previous course. Next one, actions on structural infrastructures in a changing climate. Again, you can find everything online for the lectures of the past year. And here, the target is how to estimate design variables in a changing environment under land use change, climate change, and how to, for instance, estimate extreme values by using extreme value theory, extreme value probability distributions, with parameters that are changing in time, to give you an example. And this is particularly treated under artificial intelligence and proposing codes, teaching students how to make codes. Environmental perspective in transportation systems. These courses, while the 3 courses that I described so far are delivered by myself and Prof. Ceola, she's attending today, and these other courses are delivered by colleagues, so I am less informed about these. If you want to get information about these courses, please feel free to write an email to the teachers. They are willing to they are more than willing to help you. So basically, transportation systems are, the key infrastructures to support sustainable development today. And they are specifically focusing on transport demand and supply models, organization and functional design of transport flows, etc. Analysis and modeling of marine structures. This is delivered by the colleagues working in structural mechanics, and therefore they focus on mechanical modeling of marine structures, structural dynamics, and modeling of random loads and fatigue, and the finite element methods, again, computer simulations. Advanced design, they focus on the use of technologies and codes for design and assess the main typologies of marine structures, and they also focus on offshore structures and the structural behavior of marine structures themselves. And then we go to the second block, ocean and coastal engineering, and here again the subject is renewable energy generation, but also the estimation of extremes and actions and adaptation to coastal flooding, coast management and beach design. And then we have the geotechnical design of coastal infrastructure that is essentially focusing on the foundations of structures and the infrastructures in coastal areas is a particularly relevant topic. And basically, that's it. Let me see. Yes, this is my last slide. And these are our emails if you want to contact us. And of course, we are more than willing to meet students. We will probably organize also a physical meeting in my office, and we will provide information soon about to the students in order to give also more information on a question and answer basis. But for now, we are here and willing to reply to your questions if you have any. So, Mohamed, I hope it was instructive for you. And if you have any question, please feel free to step in. Otherwise, if not, let me just share the screen. If not, I think we can close the meeting. And I think maybe, Serena, we may store the presentation somewhere and we may send the link to the students so they can take the opportunity
Yes.
to.
He's planning to go
Okay.
for Erasmus.
Okay, that's fine. And but you will stay abroad for 1 semester, I think, or 2 semesters. Anyway, it's not a problem. I mean, but if you have any specific or more detailed question, you can contact us. Okay. Thank you very much, Mohammed. Gracias, Serena. And I think we can close the meeting now. Oh, do you have something to add, Serena?
No, I was reading the chat that is asking a
Ah,
few things, but
okay.
we have time if you want, if you prefer. Otherwise, if you prefer via email, it's the same. Okay, via email. Okay.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Grazie. See
Bye.
you.